Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. My name is Josh and I run the GPU Abuse website and gaming channel. Today we are checking out the Raidmax Alpha Prime. So I've literally had this case for at least a couple months now. I've been really wanting to make a video on it and just other stuff has gotten in the way. So I'm really excited to show this case to you guys. I like to think that since I've had it for a while, I have a solid review to give to you guys. Before we start on that though, I want to mention the importance of checking out lesser well-known companies such as Raidmax, and I don't mean that in an insulting way. Raidmax is a great company and they're really trying hard to grow, and that's part of this. I mean, these bigger companies, this is just my personal opinion, but these bigger companies literally are trying to bury these lesser known companies under the ground so there's absolutely no competition. Right off the bat, you can name the top companies, like the top 3 companies. I'm not going to do it right now, but the top known companies, and that's pretty much all anyone usually chooses from. So when you're searching for a computer case, make sure that you actually look at these other lesser known companies because they have a lot to offer. I feel like they have a lot of passion in their product because they want to get out there. They're really wanting to find their path and be seen. And I think once you try one of these lesser well-known companies, you'll be like, wow, why wasn't I doing this sooner? The cases are cheaper, the construction is top-notch for Raidmax, and they have passion in their product. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and check it out. So the Alpha Prime is basically like the Alpha's bigger brother. Raidmax made a case called the Alpha, which had like a mesh front panel, which was RGB. This is the Alpha Prime, which features a tempered glass front panel, and it looks beautiful. They provide you with 3 RGB fans. It does come in black or white. I always, for whatever reason, I like the black. It just, for me personally, I have a white color scheme on my motherboard, on my RAM, and stuff like that, so I had to do it. I was like, give me the white one, that's the one that I want. Just like the last one, it has a glass panel, except this one is bigger, a much bigger tempered glass side panel. This one's actually tempered glass. The other one on the Alpha, just a regular panel. Same removable dust filter, really useful. For me, the cat likes to jump on it and it does get super dirty, so being able to remove it and just wipe off all that hair, love it. We're gonna throw that to the side for now though. And I have a few other things. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I mounted my water cooler on the top, and I just want to show you guys, since we're talking about the outer construction, I want to show you guys real quick that it is mounted a little funky. Now, these were not the mounting holes, right? Over here are the mounting holes. So I had to improvise a little bit to get the top radiator to mount, but you know what? I did it. I made it happen. So moving back to the front, they provide you with 3 RGB fans, and we'll get into the RGB a little bit later. They have the power button, restart button, some blinky lights because, you know, those are important. 2 USB 3.0s and 2 HD audio jacks for your headset and your microphone. And in the back, I mean, you can see it from here, it's just your basic, I think it comes with 6 slots? I don't know, I'm not that cool. I did punch them out, and you can put little plates in there to guard the, you know, usually there's something sitting back there, but I just punched them out and I didn't put them back in because I'm lazy. That's just me. So I guess let's dive into the actual machine itself. Give me a second while I flip it around so I can show you guys the back. So here we are. We're on the back side, the side that everybody likes, right? Either way, I don't know. That was supposed to be a perverted joke, but it didn't work out. The back is fastened on there by 2 plastic screws, as seen on TV. Pulls off just like so. And I do apologize for my cable management. I did kind of rush it when I built it, I'm not gonna lie, because I really wanted to make a video on it, and then 2 months later, here I am. You can see I didn't cut off my zip ties, but there is so much room for cable management back here. literally look at this. I know it looks like a mess, but if you really took your time and tied everything off like you're supposed to, you would have no problem with cable management, even with a non-modular power supply. Now I use the Raidmax Vampire, which is a semi-modular, meaning these cords come attached and then the rest you have to physically attach. Love it. I absolutely love it. I used to have a non-modular power supply and that shit was a nightmare, absolute nightmare. Now I use the cords that I need, and the ones that I don't, throw that shit to the side. I did remove the hard drive cage because I have a whopping 10 terabyte hard drives. These two are the Seagate Barracuda 10 terabyte hard drives. Wow, that's a mouthful. Seagate Barracuda 10 terabyte hard drives. So there's two 10 terabyte hard drives in there. And what I'm gonna do probably after this video is put a little shield in there to separate the two, because the hard drive cage comes all apart. It's really cool. Everything that they give you comes apart. It's awesome. So what I'm gonna do is actually take the plate and mount it in there so I can separate those, because I know you're not supposed to put them directly on top of each other, but I'm lazy. Did I not mention that? So yeah, I removed the hard drive cage and just pushed a lot of my cables back there. I wasn't really planning on showing you guys the back, but I want you guys to see how much cable management room there is. I mean, I can fit my fingers back in there, and this, my whole hand plus some. That is a deep, deep area right there. That's huge. If I put my finger, it's about right, that's how deep it is. That's what she said. I don't know if I'm the only one with this issue, but with previous cases, I would literally have to flip my computer case on its side and basically sit on it to mount it back. You know what I'm saying? To push it in and actually be able to fit the screws into the threading, because the cords and the cables would be literally pushing this out. Now I can finally just screw them in and we're good to go. I had to point that out. So that is the back side. Absolutely love it. Let's move around to the more exciting side, shall we? Alright, so now we are back to the side panel. I do want to show you guys these mounting screws. They're tiny. They're tiny and really nice, and it does have a slot in there where you can, stick a screwdriver, I guess, if you wanted, but you never, ever want to tighten these with any kind of tool. These are meant to be finger tight only, because you don't want to crack that nice glass that you have on the side, but it's kind of cool. It gives it a little bit of texture, I suppose. I want to show you those versus the ones on the front though. Check this out. This is going to take me a little bit, but watch this. The front panel has really super long ones with no slot in the front. Look at the size difference on those. I don't know why they're different. I'm sure there's a reason behind it, but it is what it is. So I'm not sure if I mentioned the whole, you can make your case customizable to your preference. This is something that I noticed, but check this out. Okay, so my light is shining in the exact appropriate position right now, because you see how shiny that is against the light on this side? Well, if you flip it around, check this out. It's more matted on one side, so you could technically flip this over and have like a more thick border on it, I guess, or a less shiny border than this. I don't know if you guys can see that difference, but I sure can. So there's the light on that side, and look, I'm getting fingerprints all over it. Wow. And then there's that side. Pretty intense. I think that's cool. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but if they did, well done. The front panel is the same way. One side super glossy, the other side more matted. So I guess let me go through my hardware real quick. I am using the Corsair H100i V2 to cool my CPU. I have the Galax Hall of Fame DDR4 DRAM, 3600 megahertz, 16 gigabytes, using the Galax Exox Sniper Edition 1070, a power cooler GPU, what would they call that, a jack or something. This is my Wi-Fi adapter. I forget what it is, like TP-Link or something, I don't know. What else is really important in there? Oh, an i7-6700 and the Asus Z170A. So now that that's out of the way, let's check out the RGB. That's the part that everyone's been waiting for, right? So you have to imagine this case without the RGB LED RGB strip over here, because it does not come with that. It usually just comes with the front RGB fans. So with that being said, Raidmax does sell both of these. You can buy the fans and you can buy the RGB strip. The fans usually come with it. So if you buy it, you already have the RGB fans. If you wanted the RGB fan back here, you'd have to buy it. But it does come with a remote. Check it out. I have two of them because Alpha Prime, Alpha, Alpha Prime, Alpha. Wait, no, that was backwards. Alpha Prime. Both of them do the same thing. But you see how I have two different color schemes going on here? Basically, a lot of people ask me, can I have them in sync with each other? And the question, or the answer to that question is yes, you can. Except I wanted two different colors, so when I set it up, now it's very hard to keep it in sync. I'd have to go back there, unplug it, plug it back in. Both of these are connected to the same slot on the power supply, so all I'd have to do is disconnect it and connect it, and it'd be back in sync. But I like having them different colors. I don't want them both the same color. I want them both different colors. So now the modes are all messed up. With that being said, I'm going to turn one off. I'm going to turn one of them off and then keep the other one on. There we go. Now let's cycle through all the different modes. There's a ton of modes. So I'm going to shut up for a little bit and let you guys check it out. Bunch of different blinking. This is probably my personal favorite right there. You can even change the speed on it. Speed up, speed down. I usually like a pretty slow color shift, but to each their own. You can even make the brightness level a little bit lower, or you can make it a little bit higher. I'm not sure if you guys can see the difference between that on the camera, but dark and light. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit more. And let's, whoa, that one's really cool. That one's really, really cool. A little color breathe shift. That one's really cool too. I don't know. You could come up with so many different themed rigs. It's incredible. If you guys already have this case, you need to submit some pictures to gpabuse.com. There's a page called Community Content, and you can submit your pictures to me and I'll feature them on GPU Abuse. So yeah, you have a bunch of different modes to choose from. What I normally do though, like I kind of showed you before, I gotta click this until they both come on. There we go. Now I can control them both. If you like a solid color, but usually what I do is I'll turn one off. So we'll have that one white this time around, and that one blue. How about that? And then I just like that. Easy peasy. Super cool looking case. I totally recommend it. The material, it's really high quality, not too heavy, but not too light either. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. If you want a little bit more information on this product, you can visit the GPU Abuse website in the description, or just visit raidmax.com. That will have all the information that you need to know. So with all that being said, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to have some cool close-up footage to show you guys of different things that I did with this case. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. Again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and as always, I hope to see you next time. Adios.